right now we'll be joining live with a security consultant and also the former theater commander of Operation Safe Haven, Major General Henry Ayoola, joining us live on Daybreak on Arise News Studio. This is against the claims by the National Council of Islamic Affairs that the killings are not genocidal. So we'll be having him join us live on this discussion. Major General Henry Ayoola, thank you for joining us live on Daybreak on Arise News.
Thank you, Benga. Good morning. Good day, viewers.
So we've had the narrative now coming, the National Council of Islamic Affairs strongly and vehemently rejecting the claim of U.S. claim of Christian genocide in Nigeria. What do you make of this development against the background of backdrop of military threats and all that against Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we're starting on a point that I will personally not want to discuss at all. I don't want to descend to the arena of separating, by religion, the casualties of this crisis that we have had for so long, for 16 years running. I've said it again in some other platform that it's not a discussion I want to get involved in because I think for me all lives matter, either they are Christians or Muslim or traditionalists or Hausa or Fulani or Yoruba, all lives matter. I won't descend to that arena, if you permit me. Thank you.
Okay, is it about you not wanting to descend into that arena, or about getting to the bottom of the reality of things in Nigeria? Because some people have said that when the culture of impunity is being bred in a country and when injustice reigns, a call for accountability seems like an attack. Is that what is playing out? Would you say that's close to what's playing out?
Yeah, well, like I've said it again and again, the issue of this so-called security problem, because I've submitted severally even in the last 10 years, the last 8 years of the last administration, I was very clear of the fact that what we have is not a security problem. What we have is a political problem. And it's actually part of hiding the truth to label it a security problem. And that's part of the reason why we have not been able to lay our fingers on what the real issues are. I've given it a phrase. I call it the Nigerian question. The Nigerian question is really is in the root of the problem. And until we address that, we'll just be perambulating around the problem. And that's what we've been doing.
Okay, well, based on your command experience, what would you suggest as the way forward? What would you bring forward as solutions for what can be done, especially on the front of the Nigerian military?
Well, there's an array of options before us. Again, when you take cognizance of the fact that if you come from my premise that it's actually not a security problem, then it means we have to start from the very root of it to address the Nigerian question, the what I call the clash of civilization, and the fact that Nigeria is still a country of multi-ethnic groups, and we have not been woven into a nation yet. And the first step really is to come out with a vision for a nation that will be the rallying point to crafting a nation out of this multinational entity. That would be the right place. And what makes a nation is that there must be a shared core value, a set of shared core values. Because what we have now is a clash of values, clash of civilization, clash of identity, clash of interests, clash of ideologies, clash of values, clash of principles. And that's why we are hardly on the same page on this matter. And that's why even the best efforts of the government, particularly the current government, and we must give that to to the current government. President Bola Tinubu is, I don't think there's any Nigerian who is left in doubt as to the fact that he is not a religious bigot. And so, I mean, the issue of labeling religion itself will not even apply to him. I mean, we all know, what he stands for in that area. So for me, that's the start point. Let's come together. Let's have a national summit of ethnic nationalities where we can present a vision for a new Nigeria. And I think I forwarded something on that. I don't know if Benga saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the producer can...
yeah, if the producer can give us that on the screen. That's a sample of what I have in mind. A vision that we can present. I'll read through it so that we all can share in it. That will be presented to a summit, a national summit of ethnic nationalities, where the leaders of the different, we have about 372 ethnic groups in Nigeria, okay? If we bring those leaders together, the first thing is to agree that they want to be in this union. Because we were all forced into this union, and that perhaps is the foundation why up till now, some people are reluctantly in it, some are pretending to be in it, while trying to enforce their own agenda and sectional interests and all of that, because we've not taken specific, deliberate, conscious and consensual effort to bring a cohesive set of values that will glue us together, that we all can agree upon. So looking at that vision, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at that vision. It says, a new Nigeria that is a progressive, modern nation, knowledge-based, technology-driven, offers a conducive or facilitating environment, as well as equitable and boundless opportunities for all citizens to optimally realize their potentials and in turn contribute maximally towards Nigeria's greatness as a relevant, dominant or respected player in the Committee of Nations pursuant to her emergence as the consolation and pride of Africa and the black race at large. Okay. Now, I coined that as a raw material to start with. Let the ethnic leaders, nationality leaders, look at this and panel beat it, beat it, tweak it, do everything. But let's all, at the end of the day, be able to agree that we want to be part of such a nation. Then we can now start talking about what kind of system will such a nation run? What will be the shared core values? How do we define citizenship for such a nation? What will be the baseline of things that we all respect and willing to uphold? Okay, as different from what we have.
Let's just engage in dissecting this proposal of a conference of ethnic nationalities. Yes. Some people have argued that this is just a kind of diversionary tactics and somehow appealing to semantics, because we've had similar conference in the past, like the Sovereign National Conference and also the National Confab of 2014. What happened to these recommendations? But now, cogently, people are saying that there have been several defense packages from donor nations like the US in the past, and the Nigerian military still looks very unmotivated. So this is calling for accountability, and which is also demanding for an answer from the leaders of the country. Yes.
Again, that takes us back to the root of the problem. Very simple, very simple. First of all, this issue of America's intervention has brought so many things to the fore. It's unveiling so many things we've been hiding from one another all of this while. The pack of lies and myths and deceptions and seductions, all of those, very untoward packages of strategies. Rather than moving forward as a nation, we've been playing ourselves inwardly. Now, you cannot even fight an enemy that you are not all agreed upon that this is the enemy. How do you fight such an enemy? From what we've seen today, you can see different parts of the country are even saying that the people we call enemies are not their enemies. So how do you then fight as a nation when you have not agreed that you have a common enemy? Okay? The best of the armed forces anywhere will be any effort they put up under this setting, we amount to very little. And that's why we've been around it for 16 years. Because we are not even sure what the question, what the problem is. You know, the first thing, I mean, Sun Tzu told us in his book, The Art of War, if you know yourself and you know the enemy, you need not fear the outcome of 100 battles. If you know yourself and not the enemy, for every victory you gain, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. These are age-old, time-tested, history-proven principles that nations uphold. So without that, we've not even started the fight in the first place.
Okay, Major General, now allow me to ask. You've led troops and you've taken on a lot of operations that have faced some of these terrorists that we speak about. And I think something that keeps coming up in many of the discussions is the type of weaponry that these terrorists have. In your opinion, where are they getting such sophisticated weaponry from? And in some cases, weapons that are even more sophisticated than what the Nigerian military has.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a critical question, but I mean, is there in the open, maybe hidden in plain sight, because part of the paper I wrote when I came back from Operation Safe Haven, I did a profiling mnemonics of 8 S's, that would totally, be used as an analytical tool for what we are dealing with. One of them is the fact that apart from the strategists, apart from the foot soldiers, we also have supporters and sympathizers, some of which are not even part of the foot soldiers, so you don't know them. So how do you deal with that? Even if you can, I mean, even dealing with the foot soldier is difficult in itself, because don't forget, it's an irregular force we're dealing with. Yeah, we are talking of a hybrid warfare beyond just being asymmetric, because it's a combination of several concepts of war that we're dealing with. Now, with that, if you cannot identify, you cannot even match them, they are cellular in nature. Some of the cells are within us, some are within cities, some are, I mean, when you give an impression as if they're all in the Sambisa forest, it's like a simplistic approach to trying to solve a complex problem. So these are the issues. The best of armed forces in the world, we have a serious challenge to deal with a situation like this.
Okay, agreed that we have what we can describe as an asymmetric warfare. But how would you explain the narrative coming from the mass killings in states like Plateau, Benue, and also in southern Kaduna? Isn't it compelling enough coming against the backdrop of Trump's threat of military action?
Yeah, well, the places you have mentioned, we have more than just one kind of threat. I think more often than not we focus on okay, let's outline them so that we can then disaggregate them and then deal with each one specifically. Okay, from 2009 when Boko Haram happened, okay, or started, we know that they also broke out into 3 factions. So you have the Boko Haram, as it's still called. You have the ISWAP, that pledge allegiance to ISIS. Then you have the Ansaru. These are 3 components of original Boko Haram, okay? Then, of course, we have added to it with the militias that were brought in 2014, 2015. So those are the ones we are calling bandits now. Then, of course, in recent time, we have had the introduction of Lakurawat. We have had the NJIM, that's Nasara Islam, Jamaatul Islam, Muslimin. So now we have 5 different entities to deal with. Okay, that's in the area of insurgency and terrorism. Okay, we have other challenges, I mean, in different parts of the country, militancy, or people taking advantage of the atmosphere that these.
Sorry, I think we need to streamline this discussion, because the basic narrative in which I've been trying to push to you, yes, borders on injustice, impunity, and lack of accountability in the handling of Nigeria's insecurity problem. I want you to respond poignantly to that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's go there. Now, the issue of impunity, accountability, is all a function of how the problem is perceived and how the orders are given even from the grand strategic level. For example, since this whole thing started, I'm not sure from the grand strategic level, any kind of national security presidential directive has ever been written issued in writing. That's how it is done. It is done in writing, not verbally. Not that we go and do meetings. Oh, the president had told the service chiefs to go and rejig their strategy. Those are not how nations run the military. There are tools and instruments for higher defense management. The idea of just nobody puts men in harm's way by verbal command. They must be documented. They are supposed to be gazetted and numbered. And premise on that, then you can be asking for accountability. Because if there is a presidential directive, a national security presidential directive given, dated with clear directives, then you can hold the service chiefs, the field commanders, to account as to other timeline given for the achievement of those missions. But all we've been seeing is some verbal talk. The president had just seen the service chief. Oh, he has told them to. Those are jokes. Those are jokes, and that's what we've been doing for 16 years. So that's the beginning of the era with accountability itself, with the tasking and people knowing that if you don't fulfill your mission, you start being removed from your position. Okay? We saw the joke during the last administration when the president told the IG to report to Benue State. And the IG went there and perambulated around for morning till about evening and came back to Abuja. Was he giving any sanction for that? Because he knew that the president who gave him the instruction was joking. He knew. It's like what happened even in the beginning in 2015 when the service chiefs were told to move the command and control center to Maiduguri. That also was a joke.
Yeah, the point I've been trying to ask is that Nigeria has gotten years of military aid and defense packages. What we are seeing now, does it justify the numerous defense aid that we've gotten so far along the years?
Okay. Well, the issue of AIDS, let me put it this way. We get that feedback. I've not gotten any confirmation from our military as to what kind of aid they've gotten from what different countries. But let's assume without conceding that certain aids were gotten from different countries. Of course, aids don't come to just solve all your problems instantly. Look, we're dealing with the issue of, even the America that were saying they want to help us. How many years did they spend in Afghanistan? Did they solve the problem? Okay, so these things are not that straightforward. They are very complex. But our case is different because we have our inherent problem. It's just like when COVID came, and we are told that people who died for COVID because they had some underlying issues. That is our problem. We have underlying issues that we have been dodging, evading for several years before this problem came. And that is hampering our capacity to deal decisively with the problem.
Okay. Now, speaking very practically, what key capability must Nigeria strengthen now to make sure that these terrorists are deterred together with these external threats?
Okay. Let's start by, first of all, let's all agree that these entities we have listed ab initio are our enemies.
Right.
If we all agree as a nation, these are the adversaries, that are making peace impossible for Nigeria. That's the first place to start. If we all agree, then we can then talk of a national strategy to deal with that. From the national strategy, we can then move to the military strategy to deal with the entire issue. But like I said, with that first step of knowing who the enemy is and all agreeing that this is the enemy, before we can craft a national strategy and then out of that the military strategy, we have not started. Okay? So the military will do what they are told to do. Don't forget, the military don't decide war. It's the politicians that decide. So whatever instructions they are given, they will carry it out. They don't have, they don't have any dog in the fight. The military is neutral. Supposedly, But part of the issue also is that this national question is also playing out in the military. And so it's difficult to even be able to trust even one another within the system. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Major General Henry Ayoola, former theater commander, Operation Safe Haven. Thank you very much indeed for making our time, and I believe that the federal government is listening to some of the recommendations that you've made so far, and that's all we can take here on Daybreak. Thank you very much for being a part of this show. I'm Benga Ashiru.
Thank you very much, Benga.
Thank you very much. Thank you for
opportunities.
starting this morning with us. I'm Yolanda Robert. Please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next. Goodbye.